Douglas County's latest tough on crime stance is a crackdown on shoplifting. Not on shoplifters, but a crackdown on businesses that are not reporting enough shoplifters for law enforcement to go after. Our Marshall Zellinger asked county leaders why punishing stores that are the victim of thefts is the right approach.
We're not going to allow a culture where people walk out of a store with a stack of drills and nobody says a word.
That's called stealing, and it's already a crime. But Douglas County's conservative leaders believe liberal retail policies decided by corporate executives in big cities are giving shoplifters a free pass in places like Highlands Ranch. And they're intent on signaling a tough-on-crime approach with a brief jail stay for shoplifting.
If you come down here to steal from us, plan on staying.
But what Douglas County announced today has nothing to do with actual stealing, but the failure by a business to report a theft. Businesses that fail to report shoplifting within 4 days of it happening could face a fine of $50 for every day it did not report it, up to $1,000. How do you fine a business for not reporting shoplifting if it's never reported?
If events come to our attention that we need to engage on, if we have a business that is simply looking the other way, which results in additional calls for service for us to respond to, that's when this would come into effect.
It's not clear what calls for service Republican Sheriff Darren Weekly is referring to if the complaint is that stores are not calling for help with shoplifting. It's also not clear how the financial penalty would force a change to stores' policies.
If these are businesses that are willing to let thousands of dollars of merchandise walk out the door, why do you think a $1,000 maximum fine would be a deterrent?
It's not necessarily a deterrent, but what happens at the corporate level is they institute policies at their larger national headquarters to comply with local government regulations.
Creating fines for failing to report something stolen is not new. In 2021, Democratic state lawmakers passed legislation that fines a gun owner $25 if their gun is stolen and they don't report it stolen within 5 days. Democrats said that was about public safety. All Republicans voted against that, including then State Representative Kevin Van Winkle, who is now a Douglas County commissioner.
So why were you against requiring a person to report if a gun is stolen, but you want to require a business to report if merchandise is stolen?
Well, the law passed by the majority Democrats in the state legislature simply re-victimized an already victim.
Just like the state law on guns, this would be a civil fine. It would be handled by the county attorney's office. And it's only for unincorporated Douglas County. So if it's a store in Lone Tree, perhaps Park Meadows, anywhere in there, Castle Rock, Parker, doesn't apply there. There are about 900 retail stores in unincorporated Douglas County that this would impact.
I mean, $1,000 penalty, right? Walmart's just going to be like, whatever. But I imagine like for a small business, if somebody, takes a pack of gum and you now have a reporting requirement to the county, like that could stack up for a small business.
Sure, and there were 2 people who signed up to speak publicly about this. This is not a sure thing just yet. They're open to public comment. There's a website where you can put in your comment. And those people brought up the idea of maybe you should exempt small businesses from that. So it sounds like perhaps county commissioners would be open to that feedback.
Well, I mean, there's only 3 county commissioners. How many of them were there talking in favor of this idea today?
3.
3. Sounds like it might be a done deal. Marshall Zellinger, thank you.